everyone, and welcome back to a new video. I am very pleased to bring you guys something I have never tried before. This will be a complete first impression and review for me. So, if you're interested in seeing a little bit about something called DeckOfScarlet, stay tuned. Whew. Now, to start with, you might notice I have, my hair up and just my foundation done in my eyebrows. And that is for two reasons. For one, I wanted to have my base done so that we could get busy down to what's in the DeckOfScarlet. And number two, prior to this, I filmed a review on the Lancome foundation. If that is up already, I'll put a tag somewhere. If not, keep an eye out for it because it'll be coming soon. So, now, I do have some information I want to share with you guys on this service before we move forward. For one thing, DeckOfScarlet is a subscription service, and unlike a lot of subscription services out there, this one ships every 2 months. So this is bi-monthly, not monthly. Okay, I had to look up the price because it's not in the information I printed out, but it is in fact $29.95 per charge. But remember, it's bi-monthly. So every other month you would receive a box. One of the things I really like about just the options that they have available for their subscription service is, unlike a lot of subscription services, they give you the option of seeing the palette ahead of time. So if it ends up being, say you look at it and you think, that's not for me, I'll never wear that, you can do a pass on that particular month. I do like that. The other thing I like that they now have available is that you can purchase any past palettes that you'd like. I believe the palettes are available, let's see here, I think they're $44.95 individually. Yeah, $44.95 individually without the subscription. So, you're definitely getting a break with the subscription. Another thing that's really nice now, it's a new feature that they have, is that, like, let's say you look at this and you think, hey, that's something I'd really like. But you think, these colors though, again, not for me. They have a new feature they've added to their subscription service that with your starting subscription, you can select the palette that you want. They call this a season palette. So this season's palette comes with 3 eyeshadows, a blush, a highlighter, 2 lip colors, and their first time, I believe, doing this, a double-ended lip product. DeckOfScarlet is cruelty-free and paraben-free, for those of you wanting to know, and they do ship to the US and Canada and the UK as well. So I'll try and put links to everybody's palettes down in the description box so that you have a chance to go through and look at all the past palettes, because if you do want to start a subscription to this, like I said, you can pick which palette you want to start with. I did receive this in PR, but it goes without saying my opinion will be honest. Always. Hitting 50 years old, I have no reason to, I don't need to receive things from companies to be dishonest to continue getting them. So you will get my absolute full reaction on this palette. And I want to stress this. You're going to see how this palette performs. You're going to see from beginning to end how this palette performs, because I'm going to apply all these products right here in front of you. That's why I didn't start the video with me with the makeup already on, because quite frankly I didn't want you to see it, for one. And two, I'm not interested in doing all the switchy-hoo fancy editing. I want you to see from start to finish how this performs. It's just that simple. Let's go through and see. As you can see, I already showed you the box it comes in. Really, I have to say, this is, I'm pretty impressed with this. We've got a real thick foam pad here on the top to protect it. And Shelby, we're excited to send you our new September. Can't wait to see your looks. Oh, they wrote me a note. How sweet. And you get a card in here that again shows this is Melly Sanchez. What a beautiful gal. Look at her. Beautiful. Put all of her social information down below if you're interested in checking out Melly Sanchez. And they call these the Artist-in-Chief for the season. One thing that is really fun about this is because of the fact that these palettes are created by our top YouTubers out there. It gives you the option, if you know, if you're getting the palettes and they show you clearly in each one who, you know, which YouTubers created the palette, you have all their social media information there in their YouTube channel, is you can go on, you know, if you like creating looks step by step and learning how to do makeup looks, this is a perfect way to do it because you've got the exact palette that that person created and they're going to be working tutorials through step by step for you. So I think that's really neat. Anyways, inside, as you can see, I'm really impressed, I have to say, with the way this is packaged. This is heavy duty foam in here that this is encased in. Here is the lip pencil, the dual-ended lip pencil. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And here is the palette. And as you can see, that is in some heavy duty foam. Really respect the way that they've packaged this because that means this right here is going to get to me without breaking. Or at least it has a better chance of it. How about that? Okay, so let's start with the palette. This is really exotic looking. Okay, so that has a sleeve on it. Take the sleeve off and here is the actual palette. So the back has the palette number on it, which I really like because if you're somebody who likes, you know, you want to get these to collect, because this is what I would enjoy getting these for, to be honest with you. Not just doing looks with fellow YouTubers, but having the collection of them. I mean, quite honestly, you know, I wish I'd started reviewing this at Collection 1 so that I had them, you know, because I think it's really neat. I have to say that in holding this, it is incredibly sturdy feeling. I mean, this is not a cheaply made palette. And it also says on the very end cap here, it says DeckOfScarlet Edition 4. So what I would do with these, quite frankly, is I would, you know, I'm an author. When I see this, I think of a book. This is a book of makeup for me. So if I had all the collections of them, I would just have them stacked side by side, and you can see right on the side there what edition it is. Really clever. The other thing I will say I really enjoy about this is it is a dual divider. Look at that. Isn't that something? That I absolutely have 100% respect for. So let's open her up and see. On this side, we have a nice divider there. By the way, you know, I hear a lot of people say they throw these away. I wouldn't throw these away. First off, these are expensive. This is a good quality one because you can hear, I mean, it's not, you know, flimsy, thin, cheap plastic. This is a good divider. But the best thing about these is that keeping them with your product is that, for one thing, they keep the product in the pans from flying out everywhere, and they keep your mirrors clean. So as you can see here, we have 3 eyeshadows. We have a highlighter and a blush in this one. Now remember, any of these colors, you know, you can use these for anything. I mean, this is not, you know, just because it says the cheek product doesn't mean you can't use this as an eyeshadow, which I think I'm probably going to do today, given that I need a little bit lighter transition than this color. So like, for instance, you know, you can see how pale I am, but we'll see how we work it. But since, you know, if I were to just look at these eyeshadow colors and go, oh, I can't wear that because I don't have a transition just in this palette, well, yeah, I do right there. So we'll try it and see. Now, let's flip that closed and let's take a peek here. Oh, aren't those pretty? I really like the fact that they have these divided. As opposed to if this is just all one flipping up, then when you go into your powders are getting into your lip products. But since, oh, look at that. No, they're not. When I have a lip product in a palette, this is the only way to do it. So how about we get down to some swatches? Let me give you one close-up of her before I get my fingers in there. First off, let's try out, what is that, New York? New York, which is this darkest one right here. This one, it feels very smooth. This one has, I would say, not a heavy duty. It has a tiny, tiny bit of not a grit, but you can feel a little bit of the shimmer in it. But it's not something, I mean, I won't know till I put it on my eyes, obviously, but my God, look at the color. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? I would describe this, you know what? I'm going to look at their descriptions instead of mucking up my own. Okay, New York is described as a shimmery black. Now see, I would not have used shimmery black to describe that, just looking at it myself. To me, it has a real taupey undertone. And I can definitely see the, I can't see if they're white or silver sparkles in it, but it's gorgeous. The amount of sparkle that's in it, which is a lot, and you can see it's stayed really well in the actual product. But because of that, it could be, you know, the reflection could be throwing it off, but this looks more like I would describe this more as a taupey brown shimmer, high shimmer, but that's just me. Okay, next let's move on over to Sagittarius, the center one here, which is a matte. Oh wow. Oh, that's really creamy, and holy mother of God, look at the pigment on that. So let's see what she does. Ready? Oh my Lord. And look, it's still on my finger. Holy cow. That is incredible. This is described as a deep, intense, reddish plum brown shade with a matte finish, and I agree wholeheartedly with that description. That is without a doubt a matte, very, very intense, very rich, and it is a reddish plum. It is gorgeous. Okay, let's move on. And again, that was Sagittarius. Now let's move on to this beauty right here, which is Diamond Dust. Okay, Diamond Dust. Well, let me show you. How about that? I like to... Oh, that... Now, see, this one here, the New York had a little bit more. I could feel like a tiny bit more grit. This one here just feels straight up like silk. Oh, man. Oh, you guys, look at that. Are we ready for this one? Here we go. Oh, wow, it just wants to keep going and going and going. Oh, she's beautiful. And this one is described as a shimmery, metallic, opaque silver eyeshadow. And I 100% agree with that. That is very shimmery, it is very metallic, and it is very opaque. That's gorgeous. Beautiful. Okay, now next, let's move on to the cheek products. This next one is adorable, and this is the cheek product right here. Now this reminds me of a product, oh sorry, I didn't show you. This reminds me of a blush that, because when I started off with touching it, it's very smooth, it's very silky feeling, and it starts off light. So I think this is actually one that even though I'm very pale, we're going to see, but I might be able to get away wearing this as a blush because I think this is a very buildable color. Okay, and this is, let's see here, described as a rustic brick shade with a matte finish, with a texture that blends effortlessly for a flattering appearance. And that is really pretty. I just blended out a little bit right there. What I'm starting to like in the look of this palette is the possibility that this can work for all skin tones. Because, you know, even though that is a very dark blush, very dark looking blush and not something I would normally go for, I think I'm going to be able to get away with using it just with a light hand. Pinot Grigio, I believe is how it's pronounced, which is the highlighter. Because of the fact that you can see it there, I mean, it's gorgeous. Look at it. You can still see the reflection of it, but it's getting disrupted by the hair on my arm there. So what I want to do is just give you a very clear swatch of this on my hand. There we go. Now you can see it in the reflection. Described as a powder highlighter that provides glow and luminosity to the skin for an elegant look. Okay, and the next color is, I'm going to go into Sagittarius on my Wayne Goss number 19. And I'm going to use this to deepen the crease. Ooh, that's got a lot of pigment to it. Look at that. at this. All over my eyelid. You know, if you don't like using an actual glitter glue, I have glitter glue as well, but I want a little bit of a softer look than glitter glue will give me. But this MAC eye base is wonderful for the purpose I'm going to use it for here, which you'll see in a momento. A lot of people might not consider this a very daytime appropriate look that I'm going to create using this palette, but it's just what I felt inspired when I saw this. This is what I really wanted to do. But I'd be happy to create a daytime look with this palette too. See, now look at that. See how that sticks on top of that MAC eye base? It is just like ba-boom. Even though they call this a shimmery black, it, you know, if anything, it's more of a charcoal. It's not what I would consider a, you know, a true shimmery black. So don't be scared off by hearing black. As you can see, it's not real black. And now I'm going to move this diamond dust. It's just so soft. Oh my god, look at that pigment, you guys. Look at that pigment. Now, I'm somebody that prefers to use my fingers when I'm working with shadows like these, but you don't have to. These will work, you know, you can use a brush with these. Don't think that just because I'm using my finger that these shadows can't be manipulated any other way. Oh, it's beautiful. I think I want to take a packing brush to start with. So I'm going to use my Wayne Goss number 18, and I'm going to go back into New York, which is the darker. And I really want to just pack the product on a little, bring it up past my crease. Because my eyes are hooded, it's going to get up there anyways. And so whenever I design my eye looks, and that's how come I pulled the base shadows a little bit higher up, because I knew that I was going to be pulling this one higher up. And if you have hooded eyes like I do, and you have a problem with the glitters transferring and whatever you wear on your lid transferring, then you just have to work with it. I'm going to go back to my Wayne Goss number 6, and I'm just very, very gently going to manipulate the product. You can see the difference. This one's diffused, this one's not. Now, since I'm going for more of a nighttime look, I am going to line my under eyes, and I'm using the Black Caviar pencil by Pat McGrath, which is, look at that. Oh, I wish she would sell these individually. And I'm also going to tightline. Okay, and also with this pencil, I'm going to take a little tiny smudger of this number 7 by Wayne Goss. In all my years I've been using makeup, this is the best black pencil I've ever used. It smudges beautiful. Oh, it's just beautiful. I'm going to take the New York shade again, and I'm going to start with this under my lash line. Because the formula has very, very fine, fine shimmer in it, if I were to do this look again, I would definitely either put something under my eyes, or I would just do my eyes first. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of that diamond dust, Now I'm going to go back to my Wayne Goss 18, and I just want to blend these two nicely. So I'm going to take my Wayne Goss 19, take a little bit of that Adorable shade, which is the one that's for the blush. But I think I'll just do it just a little, just to draw this in, just so it connects. Okay. So I'm going to put some mascara on and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm going to do the bottom lashes if I can without ruining my makeup with this horrible, thick, chunky, man, something's not right with this. I mean, literally, look at this, you guys. I don't know if you've ever tried It Cosmetics' new Superhero Mascara. Can you see that? It should not be like this. I'm gonna straight up get real mad. There's nothing worse than doing your whole makeup only to have one product muck it up. Hey people, so there's the eyes. What do you think? Are they sultry? Okay, so let's move along and finish this up, shall we? We're going to go very, very light-handed with this Adorable and see if we can get this to work on my skin tone. Definitely can get it to work. Have to go light-handed because it is pigmented. But as you can see, just go light-handed with it and it works. Very pretty color. And I think this color would actually work not only for a lot of skin tones. I mean, I can see even darker skinned women being able to wear this. It's got a real nice kind of red tone to it too. And as you can see, I just applied it lighter. So now I have it on my eyes and on my cheeks. I'm going to use my Wayne Goss fan brush. And so let's go into this highlighter. Oh yeah. You ready? That's really pretty. Can you guys see the kind of similar to the blush? I was worried that this was going to be too dark for my skin tone, but it is definitely not. And let's try, see how it is concentrated. Oh yeah, it's concentrated, you guys. Look at that. Maybe a little too concentrated on there on the nose. And the other thing I'd like to do is I want to try a little bit of this under my brow of this highlighter. So let's just try just under the high point of my brow right there. And then I'm going to take my Wayne Goss 6 and just very lightly blend it a little bit so it's not just sitting in one area, and incorporate it a little. Okay. And one last thing, I'm going to take my Wayne Goss 05 back into the highlighter here, and I'm going to put it right on top of that silver. Just to brighten up. Look at that. That really does brighten up that inner. And I'm putting it literally, I want it all over the inner corner. So I'm putting it just a little bit, not just right in the corner, but I want it a little bit up going on the side of the nose there. Just to, so I want light to reflect back. Right along. Now let's try out this pencil slash lipstick wand, and let's see how this works. I will say that the pencil feels a little bit dry. Certainly not the worst pencil that I've ever worked with by any means, but I just wish it had a little bit more slip to it so that it would glide over the lips a little bit easier. You can certainly apply these, you know, with your fingers if you want. I prefer to use a lip brush, so I think you're gonna get the best results out of this with a lip brush. The texture of this, while extremely soft, has a lot of grip. I was concerned at first that with the possibility that, you know, usually when I have a lip product that's as viscous as this is, it'll kind of just bleed out through all the lines and everything in my lips. But usually if I have a lip product on that's going to start bleeding, I see it pretty quick. And so this is Sasha. Let's take this off and try Maria. I want to try this without the lip liner. I want to see how this applies just on its own. The Maria one here on the bottom has a much more solid texture than Sasha does. So let's try it and see how she performs. But with this color, I would probably, you know, grab one of my MAC lip liners or something to use with this. Now this one, I think I would be a little worried about this one bleeding. Isn't that interesting? Because it's complete opposite of what I thought when I first looked at them. You know, again, I can't know for sure unless I really tried it and wore it for several hours. But just knowing, you know, lipstick the way I do, I would not wear this one without a lip liner. It feels as though it could bleed out. It's a much thinner texture than the first one. This is Maria, the first one I put on with Sasha. But it's a pretty color. I mean, it's, you know, purple is not something I would normally choose straight up purple to wear for myself. But I think this is actually one that was done really well. It has a nice plum tone to it. So I think because it's more, you know, it's not as cool as a purple can be. I think this could wear on a lot of skin tones very nicely. So there's Maria. Okay, and since the dual-ended one here came with the lip liner, I'm going to again apply the lip liner. Yeah, see how as I'm applying it, I don't know if you can see how it skips over the skin. So that's my only critique for this, is I just, you know, maybe in the future when they, I know this is their first time with this, but maybe in the future when they formulate this, formulating it with a little bit more slip to it. Now on younger skin they might not have the problem because they don't have the wrinkles to go over that I do. Now because of the fact that I can feel that this lip liner has a lot more wax in it than, you know, lip liners I'm used to using, but because of how much, you know, that waxy consistency is in this lip liner, as I went back over it, I could feel it build. Now, on one time you go, ugh, but on the other hand, it's actually kind of good because that waxy consistency that's built up there is going to stop it from bleeding or help prevent it. Wrong end. That's one thing I do wish they had, is I wish they had a little marker of some kind to show you which end, because I keep opening the wrong end. Oh. Wow. That is really... That just glides right on, like butter. And you can see it's highly pigmented. Easy to apply, even with its rounded shape. Now I'm going to go full pigment on this so you guys can really see the color. My only concern for this one, again, would be whether or not it bleeds. But it has set down some since I applied it, because when I first applied it, it was very, I mean, it was just slick. It felt wonderful, though. So there's my overall look created using the DeckOfScarlet palette. Let's go over a few points real quick. I think the presentation of it is beautiful. It's beautifully presented. They give you a card with it that tells you about, you know, the YouTube artist that created it. It's protected so that when it gets to you, you're not facing the disappointment of having an item broken. Now, as for the palette itself, I really love the construction of the palette. It's beautifully made. This is not a cheap construction at all. I mean, this is a really nicely made palette. And this is magnetic. I forgot to mention that I think this is a magnetic palette. I really like how the division of the products, so that you're not getting your lip products mixed in with your eye and cheek products. I very much enjoy the fact that these are full-size products, by the way, as well. So, you know, if you think about it, for $29.95, you have to determine whether or not this is of value to you. And of course it has a beautiful mirror too, which I forgot to mention. I like the idea that they're giving YouTubers an option of having some creativity here and input into design, color, texture, formula, what have you. I really like that. So you're supporting our YouTube community, you know, as well. So I really like that. $29.95. Now you have to determine whether or not that's of value to you. And as I showed you, even though when I originally saw these colors, I thought, no way, not gonna happen. There's no way I'm gonna be able to incorporate those on my face. as you can see, they both worked beautifully, and you can see that highlight too. I can see it from here. I would be careful about when you look at these palettes, discounting them right away based off the color that you're actually seeing, because clearly if I'd done that, I would have turned down this palette and I would have missed out on something beautiful. New York here, I would highly recommend using some kind of a base underneath it. These products did not have a huge amount of kick up in the pan, but they were highly pigmented. I like that. The Sagittarius, this matte, was incredibly pigmented and it blended beautifully. It was smooth, really nice. And then Diamond Dust. This is probably my favorite in this palette because it really packs a punch. The blush, again, it's highly pigmented. I mean, you saw it when I used it on my eyes. So, if you're somebody that goes in with a heavy hand with blush, you might want to lighten up a little bit with that. And what I really like about the highlighter is it wasn't too much. It just gave me a nice glow. Can you build it up? Yeah, you can build it up, but I didn't want to because I like having just a nice glow. I'm not somebody who wants that ba-bam. On to this side of the palette. This is kind of a little bit of a dichotomy for me because in one way I enjoy the fact that you get a multitude of lip products here, but I would almost like to see them come out with a palette that has an actual lipstick here as opposed to pan lip products. And the only reason why is because I think that pan lip products have a tendency to, one, turn some people off because they're just afraid of working with this kind of lip product in this format. But it is, it's a neat idea. I like the fact this is what makes it for me, because if these products were not separated, I'd be out of there. So, I'm kind of, I like it, but I think this will be wonderful for people who are younger in particular, who don't have lines in their lips, who don't have to worry about products bleeding in those lines in their lips. Just to design one of these, that's how I'd want to design it. I'd want to design it with an actual lipstick there, or even a dual, if you wanted to get the dual aspect there, you could put a dual-ended lipstick component in there, just like they did here. Now, this one here, as you saw from my application, the only issue I have with this is the lip liner. I think the lip liner, and again, I do know this is their first time working with this component, so obviously it's their first time working with this formula. So I think in the future, the only thing that they need to do, I would advise for DeckOfScarlet to do, is to get a formula for the lip liner that has a little bit more slip to it, because this one is pretty waxy. And while that waxiness will definitely work as a barrier to hold the product in, which it clearly is for me right now, a lot of people might not, I find that a lot of people really like to have a lip liner that slips over their lips easily. So again, it's something you have to decide whether this is of value to you. To me, this is definitely worth $29.95 based off the fact that these are full-size products. I have 3 eyeshadows, 2 face products, and in this case I have 4 lip products. And again, remember, I'm not trying to sell this to you, I'm just laying it on the line. You can see how the product's applied. I take more time with my videos, allowing you the freedom to either watch it or fast forward through. That way you can see how it applied. You're seeing the way it happened. Personally, myself, I really, as my first time working with this palette, I really enjoyed it. I found that I love the look I created. I think my eyes are just going bam out of there. I mean, the colors just made the green. Can you see how the green in my eyes is almost electric looking from these colors? I mean, that's impressive. Look at that. I mean, I look in the mirror, my eyes look like silver green right now. And that tells me that I've got colors that I really like. I mean, that emphasize my eyes that much. As I've taken enough of your time, I will put all of the information down below in the description box on the service, on the previous boxes that are available, because remember, if you do sign up for the service, you can pick whichever box you want for your starting box. I will also put a code down below that will give you 10% off. It is not an affiliate code. It does not earn me any money. It is just a code for you to get 10% off of your first box if you want to try it. And other than that, I'd love to hear what you guys think of this, whether you like it or not. But I love it. And to be honest with you, I'd love to keep reviewing them. And if you guys want me to keep reviewing them, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will be happy to not only, you know, or create a look off of every month's one, just a quick look, and as opposed to a full review, you know. So if you'd like that, let me know down below. Other than that, I think it's a thumbs up for this little baby. It's, you know, I mean, it's, the packaging alone is, I mean, it's really beautifully done. Whoever's designing this and creating this has really done a beautiful job with it, and I love how their book style. So I mean, you can literally just, you know, think of, I mean, I'd love, like I said, I'd love to have all the ones before this and then each one after it and have them collecting on my shelves. And, oh, I want to do an eye look, let's pull out number 4. Says it right there. I really like that a lot. I think it's really clever. That's it for now. I love you guys. I hope you like the look that I came up with this. And until next time, remember, love and respect. And please, my prayers and my well wishes and everything within me is reaching out to those of you involved in the horrible, horrible atrocity that happened in Las Vegas recently. I cannot say enough. There are no words to convey how I feel about this, other than to say, this must stop. Hear how angry, how upset, how mad, how depressed, how this, how that you are. You have no right. You know, I have no right to harm another person. I just don't understand it, you guys. I really don't. And you know what? The younger generation, you guys out there have the power to make major change by taking responsibility for your actions, your behavior, how you treat people in the world. And just think, you know, because, you know, that one kid you walk into school and bully can be that one kid who's smiling at him can make all the difference in his day. And the difference in your world. So don't forget that. I love you guys. Say a prayer for him.